Hey, welcome back to the Game Room. I'm stoked that you're here today because we have a killer video lined up for you. We're going to start things off with a little bit of gaming news. We're going to get into some what you playing, and then last off, we're going to finish it up with some scumbag reseller. Stoked that you're here. Let's get into it. Alright, let's get right into it with some gaming news, and we're kicking it off with the Google Stadia controller. Not that long ago, Nintendo shut down the Wii U and 3DS eShops, and Microsoft's Xbox 360 eShops closure is looming in July 2024. Now, events like this definitely get retro game collectors thinking about the long-term viability of a lot of the technology that they have in their game rooms. Recently, I've had a couple of really interesting conversations about this. The Google Stadia controller. Alright, so why the Google Stadia controller? Well, this is another interesting example of recent technology that is becoming completely obsolete. At least, sort of. Google's Stadia gaming platform is completely shut down and has been as of January 2023. Now, in a last-ditch effort to preserve part of their fan base, Google did make the Stadia controller unlockable until the date of December 2023, meaning you could unlock Bluetooth connectivity and make the Google Stadia controller that much more useful. Well, what's interesting is that Google extended the deadline to unlocking their Bluetooth controller until December of 2024, giving gamers like you another 7 months before non-unlocked controllers are completely dead. So of course, what did I do? I ran to eBay to buy my very own Wasabi Green Google Stadia controller without having ever researched what sort of compatibility this thing has at all. After a few quick and easy steps through Google Stadia's website, I unlocked my Bluetooth controller to find out that the list of compatibility is pretty short. Turns out that the only platforms that this works on are a selection of small things like Windows, Mac OS, Steam, Chrome OS, and Android. And it does work on the Steam Deck too once unlocked, so that's actually a pretty neat use for this. The controller has a premium feel that you'd expect from a Google product. It's a very solid feeling controller with a bit of a gritty back and a smooth front. Now for $30 Canadian, you can invest in a Mayflash Magic or 8BitDo wireless receiver dongle and get the controller to work on an Xbox or Switch product. But what it really comes down to with the Google Stadia controller is an interesting discussion around new tech that is fading out already. And what's interesting is that controllers that aren't unlocked after December 2024 are basically just dead weight. This is still a really interesting addition to any game room as sort of an artifact. For game collectors, there's something really interesting about picking one of these up and converting its Bluetooth functionality to preserve this as sort of a gaming relic of times past. There's also some really interesting discussion to be had around the value of the Google Stadia controller post-December 2024. Is the Google Stadia controller going to be something that is rare and coveted by game collectors, or something that's lost altogether to the realm of obscurity? Leave it down in the comments below. I would love to know your take on the Google Stadia controller. Do you have one in your game room? Are you thinking about getting one? Or maybe just unlocking the one you already have before the December 2024 deadline? Let me know in the comment section below. Alright, for what you're playing today, we're talking all about Titanfall 2, the campaign mode, not the online multiplayer version. We've been playing that a lot recently in the game room. Actually wasn't originally sure if the campaign mode was on Titanfall 1 or Titanfall 2, but it turns out Titanfall 1's just multiplayer only. So yeah, we're just talking strictly about the Titanfall 2 campaign mode. I'd heard so many good things about this campaign on review videos, so it was absolutely time to check this one out. Titanfall 2 is a 2016 release that you can play on Xbox One, PS4, and Windows. And what's really cool about it is the price point. Copies of Titanfall 2 come in right around $5 on eBay, so a super cheap game to get into. And then on top of that, the campaign's only going to take you around 6 hours to beat. So really low price point, really short time investment, and a super fun first-person shooter experience. If you're at all into single player first person shooters, this is absolutely a great time, and icing on the cake is the sort of mech interaction that you get in this one. I'm not gonna lie though, the mech portions of this game are a lot of fun, and there's nothing wrong at all with climbing into a massive robot and shooting everything in sight. Mech battles are an absolute blast too. The single player, they're called pilots. This portion of the game is actually an absolute blast. Wall running is not unlike what you'd find in the newer Star Wars titles, and yeah, it's a lot of fun, both inside and outside mechs for any part of this game. Weapons feel strong and punchy, and there's some actually really great platforming elements to this game too, so it is absolutely a shooter first, but definitely a solid blend of platforming for this one as well. I'd say the only downside to the single player campaign is that it does at points feel like a little bit of a tech demo for the multiplayer mode. The campaign sort of draws out slowly, unlocking different mech abilities as you go, and that way you get a chance to kind of learn each one and decide which one you like best. Overall, you can't really go wrong with this one. At a $5 investment and a 6-hour campaign, there's no reason to not pick this one up and at least give it a bit of a shot, especially if you're into mechs. This is an absolutely killer campaign to work your way through. I'm about halfway through now and really stoked to finish this one, so definitely a cool addition to your game room. Titanfall 2 is absolutely a worthwhile pickup if you don't already have it. And if you have played it, let me know in the comments what you thought of this one. Definitely check this one out. Alright, it's time for a little scumbag reseller. I'm going to talk you through some of the stuff that I've been selling in the game room recently, some recent pickups for resale, and something a little extra to be on the lookout for. So let's start it off with recent sales. DVDs of movies and TV shows that are no longer available on streaming services have spiked in value and have been like that for quite a while now. It's always worth putting the time in to take a look at some of these ultra cheap DVDs to see what's worth what. I recently sold seasons 1 and 2 of Dinosaurs, an old sitcom from the 90s that is no longer available to find anywhere for streaming. These sold at a pretty decent price and absolutely worth the flip. Clothing can be a little bit tedious as you're always checking for rips and stains. You have to give measurements on eBay, so it's a little bit of extra work, but there are definitely items of clothing that flip for quite a lot of value, and with most shirts coming in somewhere around $5 at a lot of thrift stores. I sold this Club Monaco sweatshirt pretty recently, and it was a $5 pickup and a really decent flip, so always worth digging through the clothing sections to see what you can find. And a video game related one, somehow the Michael Jackson Experience continues to rise in value. It's sitting somewhere right around $20 to $25 right now. I've now sold my 3rd copy on eBay, and yeah, definitely be on the lookout for the Michael Jackson Experience on the Nintendo Wii. It just continues to sell. If you know why, put it down in the comments, but until further notice, keep on buying copies of this when you find it. Alright, recent pickups, and I got a few. Let's start with the obvious golf stuff. It is the season. If you're watching this in spring, absolutely a great time to pick up golf clubs, anything golf related, golf bags, and this hat at $3.99 was an absolute steal. It's virtually new. Anything in a stretch fit is awesome because it's just going to be that much easier to size for someone who wants to buy this. I'd say I can probably get about $15 Canadian local resale for something like this. There's something about PlayStation 2 guitars for Guitar Hero, especially the ones that plug in. I've never had one of these not work. I do sort of a quick check over when I'm at the thrift store to make sure that everything feels like it's functioning. I'll put a little B-roll in right here, so you can get an idea whether or not I got this one working. But yeah, local Facebook Marketplace resale. This is an easy flip. $6 investment on this one. With a copy of the game, this should be $60 Canadian all day long. And last up, this one's a bit of an oddball. Disney's Toy Story Bucket of Soldiers. This one was $3.99. I have no way of knowing exactly how many soldiers are in here, but I actually am not too concerned about it. Comes with a certificate of authenticity. I've seen these going on eBay for a pretty decent amount. I love taking weird risks on stuff that I've never sold before, and for a $4 investment for hopefully what's going to be 72 soldiers, yeah, gonna try this all day long for a flip. All right, and last up, your be on the lookout for. I mentioned earlier in the video that the Xbox 360 online store is coming to an end in July of 2024, and Trials HD is a game that will be lost on the store, but does exist in a physical format on the Xbox 360 in this triple pack that also includes Limbo and Splosion Man. These triple packs are already a cool little addition to anyone's collection, but the fact that Trials HD is gonna be lost on the online store could potentially make this one a whole lot more valuable. Now, I actually kept the receipt from when I bought this one. This is actually a summer of 2023 pickup. I paid $11.44 Canadian total. And since 2023, this has already doubled in value on price charting. So I'll be really curious to see what this does post eShop closure. Hey, thanks so much for stopping by the game room today. I so appreciate you hanging out with me in the game room today and checking out everything that's going on. I appreciate all the likes, subscribes, comments, all that good stuff. It goes a long way in helping my channel grow. I so appreciate it, and I'll catch you on the next one.